So it's been a while since I've done an actual OC related activity video, and there's a couple of them that I missed in my last few videos on things to do with your OCs and the DIYs that I've done. And of course, I'm always trying new things, so there's always something to add to this very long list of things to do with your OC. So here's a couple more craft-related DIY projects for you to do with your OCs. So first off, this one was intended to be in the DIY crafts video and also the things to do with your OC video that I did a couple months ago, and I forgot it both times, which is really funny. So the clips have just been sitting in my gallery for a while. I had a friend who was doing a lot of Pokemon card stuff and just had tin boxes that they weren't going to use anymore, so they gave them to me, and I'm very grateful for that because then I get to do more craft-related things with them. But I think you could substitute this particular tin box. I don't think you need a Pokemon-related one or like anything of the sort. Things like Altoid tin boxes work just fine too, or really any trinket box that you have that isn't necessarily being used at the moment can be easily redesigned into something themed around your OC. So it's really simple. All I did was cut out a bunch of paper in the shapes of the actual tin box, collage it together. I've done a video on collage and how I do my stuff around that, and so I'll probably be linking that in the description as a little bit of a guide. And then on top I added a bunch of other things like charms, specifically buttons. I use a lot of buttons. I think you could also add a ton of ribbon into this too, and though they don't have much of a use outside of being just a little decorative thing, for the most part they are just very delicate and difficult to use as an actual wallet by any means. I think it's a nice way to get extra use out of something that otherwise would have just been discarded. The second one, I kind of went to a dead stock store a couple months ago and went crazy and bought a bunch of things, and this is just an extension of the things that I've been doing with those. All this really is pasting a bunch of really cute little decor stickers and charms onto a photo frame. It's very simple. I think you could substitute charms for buttons. I used a lot of them in this, but I just didn't have enough that I could make a nice looking color palette with them. With mine I did a bunch of ombre. That's only because I had a lot of multicolored charms that kind of faded into each other, so I thought it would look cool. And then in the middle you can just put a photo of your OC or something. I just drew something out as a placeholder for the time being, but I think this would be really cool if you want to just have a very bedazzled photo of your OC to maybe hang or just display, whatever you want to do with it. So this next one can be as craft related as you like. It's not exactly a craft if you're using it through digital, but I think this is very easily DIY accessible if you really just draw it out. But these are like little photo cards. I made a bunch of them on Wooacry recently. I think they're absolutely adorable. But I think this is also a really easy craft too, if you're just drawing the character out on firm paper, maybe cardstock, and then pasting it all together and putting it in a lanyard or something. I've done previous videos on custom lanyards for character IDs in particular, but I think photo cards could also fit next to that too. So now you have a whole themed lanyard, with an OC ID of themed lanyard and now a photo card. And besides that, it's very straightforward, especially if you have characters that would definitely have photo cards, because I have a few that I think would realistically make these types of things. So it could also be additional world building, if we're really stretching the concept here. On the theme of paper-based crafts that I think are really simple, you can also make posters. I did a bunch of posters for my school and snuck my OCs into there, so while they were plastered around the school, I got to see my little guy's face all the time, and there's just so much joy in knowing that nobody knows the ridiculous name of that character but me, and it's great. And there's a lot of things that you can do with just posters, and this can be easily done on digital, printed out, or you can just use actual poster paper or a piece of paper and make your own designs that way. The theme of the actual poster itself can differ depending on what you need for your OC verse, because there's an easy way to make it lighthearted, fun, whatever, but there's also more serious posters that you can make. OC propaganda posters would be super cool. I've been meaning to make a lot of those recently and I just have not had the time. I think they're really neat to hang around your room and just kind of be a statement piece. I carry a lot of posters in my room. Some of them are collage based, some of them are gifts from friends, but I also have some of my OC related posters just hung in my room and they're great and I love them. Make more posters of your OCs. This next one I've done periodically when I go to this summer camp that I've been to for like the past 3 years. They've always had this craft available, and just recently it had clicked to me that you could technically make this OC themed if you really tried hard enough, and that is Macrame Keychains. I've made a bunch just to match with my outfits, but there's a lot of really cool and unique designs that you can do with just these around on the internet. Recently, I've kind of been branching off and doing like flower-related ones, but some of the more simple ones are also easily applicable too, making them in the color palette of your OC, or maybe just thinking about them as the hair of your character and then intertwining it with somebody else's. I think it's a really neat concept. This next one is very advanced in comparison to the other ones that I've done. I think if you have the time and resources to make these, that they could turn out really cool. But I was inspired by another YouTube video that I'll probably be linking in the description, as they did a much better job than I did, was making your own ITA bag out of a clear bag. I've really wanted to make one for one of my characters, but I just don't have the money or the space to go and purchase a new bag. I already have enough as is, so I just looked around for a clear bag and lo and behold, I had one from Daiso. And so all I really did was make cardboard inserts, stuck a bunch of pins on there, and created an ITA bag out of basically nothing. The backside I still haven't finished yet. I don't have enough pins of my character's other form to put on the other side, so for now that's just an empty space and we're gonna pretend it doesn't exist. But the front side is really, really cool. As far as the inserts go, it's a very juvenile craft, at least the way I did it. I didn't really use much sewing in it. I just stapled a bunch of fabric onto the cardboard to act as the actual base to put the pins on, then added stickers, some of the charms that I had left over from the photo frame, and then of course all of the pins that I've accumulated over time. I also made a rosette out of another one that I got from a dead stock store. I think you can get rosettes like pre-made for pretty cheap, and had a pre-printed out face of my character and slapped it onto there with some Mod Podge, and I think it adds a lot to the look of the ITA bag itself. So, you know, that's also an option. I don't think I'll make a separate one on just rosettes or pre-made rosettes and putting your characters on them, so it's an extension of the ITA bag, whatever. I think they're really cool regardless. Other than that, I am thinking about putting ribbons on the side just to make it look a little bit nicer. On the sides of the inserts you can make cool designs too, but I haven't gone that far. But again, the more professionally made version of this ITA bag insert design will be linked in the description, so check that creator out. This one I think is also easy if you have leftover tote bags around. I know I do, and a lot of them just have designs that I'm not entirely 100% on, so I thought it'd be neat to put a design on it. You can use a blank canvas bag, a blank tote bag. You could also use some bag that has enough blank space for you to work on it. But all I really did was use acrylic markers and just draw out the design right smack dab in the middle. You can heat seal it, but I would be a little bit careful with that, especially if you're on the younger side. Have some adult supervision if you're doing that. I don't think heat sealing is necessary unless you're actually like thinking about washing it. I don't think I'm going to be washing that tote bag, and I use it very sparingly to begin with, so it's more of a decorative thing than an actual full use rewash multiple times thing. I think if you used fabric paint or something similar to that this craft would be more durable, but as I've said in previous videos, I don't think any of these crafts are meant to be very long lasting. They're easily repairable, and if you do put this through the wash, I think you could just do over the design again. One of the things that I've been doing is using heat transfer paper to make patches. Some of them are OC themed, some of them are random photos I got off of Pinterest, and I've been meaning to patchwork together on top of some of my other tote bags and their designs that I'm not 100% on. So that's also an option too if you have heat transfer paper or have the ability to purchase some. You can use irons for those. I happen to have a library nearby that had a heat press, so doing these was a lot easier at the time. I think just having a themed tote bag also of your character is a really cool concept, and I absolutely love mine to pieces, even though I'm mortified of getting it dirty because I don't want to wash it. And as of this last one, I think everyone's seen some form of this, at least if you've been on TikTok a lot or YouTube Shorts. And that is the hanging dolls. There's a lot of really helpful tutorials. I'll probably be linking some in the description just to make it easier for you to access. This can also be used on maybe even acrylic keychains or other types of material that are more durable instead of it just being paper. And there's also a lot more professional hinges, I mean, if you really want to go that far. But the paper version is really cool and easy to do. In most cases, even if you're a digital artist, you can just print out the design and then try it out on there. Besides that, it's very, very straightforward, and if you haven't seen it already, I'm just spreading the word. I'll be your messenger. Do these also. With that, I think we wrap up everything that I have for today. Of course, if you have any really cool OC related things that you've been doing, any crafts that you think would be cool to implement OC related things into, I'd love to hear them. I feel like any craft could be OC related if you're crazy enough. I love doing these, and I'll probably have another on less craft related things and maybe more activity based things somewhere in the future. I just need to accumulate more activities for you guys to do. But yeah, that's all. Bye.